What's up, guys? So, I was playing Battlefield 6 earlier today, and I'm not one to usually make like a commentary video. It's only going to be my second video on the channel. But I just kind of started thinking, and I've had conversations with my friends as well, of like what gaming has become in 2026. So, it inspired me to make a little commentary video. I'm recording this in my car. Hopefully, the audio comes through. I'm working on the channel right now. I just don't have a lot of free time, but I'm going to try to record some other videos. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to start with Battlefield. I feel like Battlefield is the epitome of what gaming has become in 2026. Uh, I had been following Battlefield 6, the release for about, I want to say like a year before it came out, 2 years. I remember right around the time when College Football 25 was coming out, I got curious about the new Battlefield because 2042 was a massive flop. It didn't seem like there was much of a need or want for Battlefield to come out. Um, but I started looking it up, and there was like rumblings of Battlefield 6, being produced. And then they put out a tweet which showed like the concept art for Battlefield 6, and that's kind of when I started investing. Now, like everybody else, I hopped on the train of okay, do not pre-order, uh, and I stuck to that. No one, I don't think a lot of people pre-ordered before the beta came out. Beta came out, it was solid, it was great. It just gave us a little taste of what Battlefield 6 was going to be, and I think a lot of people like me assumed it was going to be, you know, those maps they released on the beta were going to be the small ones, and there was going to be a crap ton of maps similar to Battlefield 4 where they just keep releasing a bunch, and they were going to be massive. Those are just small maps, or maybe they just gave us little spaces in a bigger map. That's what everyone figured. That's what I figured. So I played the beta, had a great time. They had more concurrent players on the beta than Call of Duty ever had. Great year for Battlefield. It looked like the tides had finally turned. Call of Duty used their last, chance and blew it with Black Ops 7 even before it was released. And it looked like Battlefield was going to finally become the victor in the Battlefield versus Call of Duty war. Uh, so I bought it when it came out, enjoyed the hell out of the game of Battlefield 6. And then, like everybody else, I started to get bored waiting for new maps, and there was nothing. There was nothing. Um, I think what's really frustrating about Battlefield 6, right? Battlefield 6 had the greatest opportunity in the world, and they still do. That is the crazy thing to me. They are just continually squandering it. Can you name in the past 6 months, since October, since Battlefield 6 came out, how many massive games have come out since then? Zero. Arc Raiders and Battlefield came out around the same time, and those have been the talk of the town since then. There has not been a massive game that has come out since. So you look at that. You look at the fact that Call of Duty is having the worst year in its entire franchise. Battlefield outsold Call of Duty by millions of copies. Millions of copies. They had 700,000 concurrent players on Steam alone. That does not count consoles. And then they chose to do nothing with it. I think that is the most frustrating part. And they still have an opportunity. There are not going to be any big games coming out until GTA 6. I think the gaming market kind of understands that once Grand Theft Auto comes out, you're not really going to be able to release a game within the 3 months that game is out. So nothing's really coming out. I think Wolverine's coming out sometime this spring, but still, Battlefield 6 still has an opportunity to capitalize on where the market is right now, but they're not. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've had four maps released since it came out in October. I think that is probably the most frustrating part. So just lack of content being uploaded on Battlefield 6 part. They beat Call of Duty. No other games have really been released. People enjoy the core gameplay of Battlefield. I will say I enjoy it for the most part. They definitely codified it, but if they just release bigger maps, I don't think it'll be as big a deal. Definitely work on the vehicles. And I think Season 3 looks promising, but I'm not investing crap until I see it. But But yeah, they just had the biggest opportunity. And the question becomes, this game has been being worked on for, I think, 5 years, right? The last time a Battlefield came out was 2042 in 2020. So they had 5 years between that. The longest time between a Battlefield in a very long time. So how can you only release 4 maps in 6 months? How is that even possible with 5 years to work on the game? Did they put all their resources into RedSec? They made $1 billion off the game, but they still had to fire a third of their employees at EA, and Battlefield specifically? Really? That makes absolutely no sense. So I've bought in, and I think a lot of people have as well, to the theory that Battlefield actually just has they released half a game, right? Battlefield 7 is probably going to come out in about a year. I think that's true at this point. I don't see how you've had 5 years to work on the game and there's only 4 maps out right now. But anyways, moving on to just gaming as a whole, right? My problem with gaming in 2026, the biggest issue is a game's shelf life, right? I feel like back when Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Halo, even sports games, which I really enjoy, Madden, NBA 2K, all that, when they were releasing, the shelf life of a game was a year. You could play that game for a year and you would have fun. And now it kind of feels like it's 3 months. Let's make as much money in 3 months as possible and then kind of just step away from the game. I have a list of games that just came off the dome, right? These are the games that I thought of when I was thinking, okay, how many games are there that have come out and they're popular for like 3 months? Some of them have a steady player count, but who remembers Helldivers 2? That's still a relatively popular game, but when that came out, I think it got up to like 300,000 concurrent players. Everyone was on it. All the YouTubers were making videos. And then 3 months later, down in the dumps. Still a great game. People still play it today. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but that's a small example. What about Power World? Power World was the talk of the town. 3 months. Then it's done. Ready or Not. I remember buying Ready or Not because everyone was talking about it. All my friends want to play it. Hey, let's hop on Ready or Not. It was fun. It still is. But now, my problem with Ready or Not, maybe because it's a smaller studio, I don't know, but they're trying to charge for DLC. But I'll still take that over a live service game. Speaking of live service games, right? I've been playing older games recently. I've gone back to... I'm a big college basketball fan, so I finally found NCAA Hoops 2K7. I couldn't find 2K8. That is just the hardest game to find. But I got it on my PS3, right? I've been playing that game a crap ton. And let me tell you, the craziest thing to me is how much detail is put into that game, right? If I can find a clip, I'll show it. But they had weekly wrap-up shows, and I'll watch it because they're good. They're not choppy. They show highlights from games you don't play. They show stats. Like, they show the top 25. The commentators talk about it. And it's really, really well made. That's a game that's 20 years old. College Hoops 2K7 has a weekly wrap-up show. They have Selection Sunday, which you will see in real college basketball.
It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event, the NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seeding.
And if you make the tournament, or small schools will be like, this is their 7th appearance in program history. And it keeps track of that. How are we having that in a game made 20 years ago, right? That game obviously is in live service, right? I played 2K10. I bought that game, heard it was good. There's a YouTuber called Soft Drinks TV. I like to watch a lot of his sports video game videos because I'm a big sports game guy. I bought 2K10, and it was Easter Sunday. I had just gotten home from work, played the game, and there was an Easter filter on the damn game. How come? And this makes no sense to me. How can I have an Easter filter? The commentator saying, hey, happy Easter. We got this Sunday night game with you on a game that's now 16 years old. But Battlefield 6 won't do anything for, a holiday like Easter. I know it's a religious holiday, but what's the point of a live service game if it doesn't feel like it's connected to what's going on currently, right? If I'm playing on 4th of July weekend, I want Battlefield 6 or whatever game I'm playing to lean into the holiday. Make it a double XP weekend. Come out with weapons that you can only use that weekend. Turn the bullets into fireworks, stuff like that. Lean into the holiday, guys. It's a live service game. What's the point of a live service game? I really don't understand at this point. It's really frustrating. So that goes into the modern gaming with me too. Everything has to be live service, but isn't the whole point of live service literally supposed to give you the stuff here and now? Like, hey, we have this thing going on just this weekend, right? Battlefield 6 doesn't really do that. They did the Motocross Red Bull BS. I played one game of that just to get, some of the skins. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Yeah. So, this is a shorter video. It's only 10 minutes, but I've had these conversations with my friend over the past few months, with a lot of people that enjoy gaming. There's still a lot of good games out there. I've been playing a lot of R6, and you got to give it to streamers like Jinxie who are keeping those games alive. But something has to be done. I'm tired of these 3-month life cycle games, right? And I do think, now that I'm thinking about it right now, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to rewrite, what's going in gaming right now. Because when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, that's not going to be a game that has a shelf life of 3 months. That's going to be like 4, 5, 6 years. And they're doing that with Grand Theft Auto 5 right now. And you know what? Going back to Battlefield, I had high hopes that they would do that with Battlefield 6. They did it with 2042. They released an update for 2042 3 weeks before Battlefield 6, right? So, it really just comes down to an effort thing. These gaming companies are lying to us. Battlefield has plenty of resources. They spent 5 years, they spent billions of dollars in 5 years building this game, right? There's no way they only had enough resources to make 4 maps. They just made $1 billion off the game. They just laid off a third of their team. They have the resources. They just got bought by, Saudi leaders who will invest billions of dollars in anything. So, anyways, guys, that's kind of all my thoughts on it. This just came straight off the dome. Like, I didn't really write a script for this, so this video might be, a little out of order, but I've just been frustrated with gaming the past few months, and honestly, like, going back to these older games and playing them on my PS3, it's so refreshing. You could just tell the amount of effort and detail put into these older games compared to now. And you know what? Like, gaming's becoming a luxury hobby now. Maybe it always has been. It's not like consoles were cheap back in the 90s. They were still expensive, but with the price of RAM going up, and I've heard it might be going down soon, it just feels like, if gaming is going to be a luxury hobby, if you want me to invest thousands of dollars into a console and then pay hundreds of dollars a year just to play online, and I can't return any game I ever buy, like, a $70 game needs to have more effort put into it. And, most people feel this way. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you made it this long, subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to try to post more videos here soon, but it's just been a lot. I got school, work, trying to make a career for myself right now, so haven't been able to post too many videos, but I'll try to get back on it. Maybe get some R6, Battlefield 6 once Season 3 comes out. We'll check it out. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.